Well, thank you for coming on the red carpet round table, Miss Jordan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
You're
happy
very,
to.
you're very welcome. Let's talk about what got you started in the entertainment industry.
Sure. Well, I've been entertaining since I was very young. I started dancing at the age of 3 and had a career as a professional dancer and choreographer. And dancing turned into dance, and I did that, with
Hmm.
many different dance companies. And dance turned into dance on film. And it was kind of a natural progression when I worked with an artist in New York City named Bill Hayward, who was a portrait photographer. And then he shot a lot of like, celebrities, and we started doing a lot of experimental film and dance on film. And that led into film on film and acting. And so I have been enjoying being an artist my entire life, I'm happy to say. Yeah.
Wow. And what's the struggle have you noticed being in the entertainment industry?
What isn't the struggle? Let's start with what's not the struggle, because when you choose to be an entertainer, it's funny. I was watching a comedian make a joke about this, and I can't recall who it was, but they were saying like, "Oh, you're going to be an accountant, or is there any pay in that?" And so you're constantly questioned. I feel like that's one of the biggest things for me that's been something that I've overcome is people constantly not understanding you as a person, not understanding your field, not having a belief that you're inherently going to make it, as most people tend to when they hear of other people going into the career of law or the career of um, teaching or anything else. It's assumed that you'll succeed. But in the entertainment industry, it's assumed that you'll fail. So in a way, there's a little bit of a relief because you learn very early to dig in, find your own strength, be who you are, no matter what. But it is a constant, it's a constant thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't realize the struggle in the entertainment industry, like auditions and how many no's you get till you get a yes, or I think that's the struggle that everybody uh, uh, doesn't realize when they want to get into the entertainment industry. I was trying to find the right wording, but for you, what helped you, um, you know, get used to the no's until you got a yes?
Absolutely. You automatically have the no, right? In anything that you do. The no is there, the no is easy. And so you have to fight for the yes. And so for me, it's like, as long as I show up and I'm doing my best work, whether that's an audition or a reading or whatever it is, I'm doing it for me. I've had to shift the perspective of like, are you going to like me? Are you going to approve of me? Because we all judge each other. We all have our opinions. We create them in the spot. But the reality is, if I'm showing up and I'm getting bigger than the job, I'm getting bigger by having a purpose or a meaning to what I'm doing. Meaning, if my purpose is pursuing an art that I know is wildly unattainable, because as an artist, you always want to get better. You always want to get better. So if that's
Hmm.
the pursuit versus people liking me or actually necessarily booking the job, then I feel like I show up as my best work because it's me with me in the room. And there's also a way in which that can take some of the pressure off because I'm not trying to fit myself into your box. I don't worry about your box. I worry about am I doing the best that I can for the role, for the character, for this part? And if I achieve that, but I don't get the job because of somebody's grandson needs a
Hmm.
put in money, or I mean, there's so many things that can come up, or somebody's taller. Once I remember I auditioned for a dance part in New York City. I swear there were hundreds and hundreds of women, and it came down to two of us. And the director called me and said, "She's 2 inches taller. It's better for the role, but you're incredible, and I just thought you should know." And that really stuck with me because it's like sometimes it comes down to that, really. And so if we have no control over that, what can I control? I can control my performance and my art and what I invest and give in each thing that I tackle. Yeah.
Right. And that's a good lesson that you just talked about because a lot of young actors and actresses, especially kids, teenagers, and young adults, don't realize what it's like being in the entertainment industry. They think it's like they're gonna get a big role just like that. Snap a finger, but they're not. Um, and it's you're right. You know, you're telling a story like it's not like get used to auditions. I mean, you do, but it's like get used to the no's till you get the yes. But also, it's like don't give up, right? Keep going, keep
Never
fighting.
give up. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. You know, the people that make it are the ones that are obsessed, that are the
Hmm.
ones that are passionate, the ones that are willing to, oh, okay, everybody's taking one acting class. I'm going to take two. Everybody's doing this. I'm going to go that extra step. And I do believe, I really, truly do believe that if you're willing to put in that much work and you're constantly willing to change your tactics, not just the same thing over and over, but you're like, okay, that didn't work. Let me try this. Okay, that didn't work. Who can mentor me? Where can I get
Hmm.
the advice to do better? You're gonna have some moments of success. Like it's inevitable.
That's 100% true. 100%. I want to dig into is there any your acting career? I mean, is there any upcoming projects that you can talk about?
I would love to talk about my play. Yeah, we're doing a play at the Odyssey Theater called
Hmm.
The Mother with the Hat. It is by Stephen Adley Gurgis, and it will be running the month of August, opening August 9th, which is our big gala. And it closes the 31st. Unless we're wildly sold out, then we might extend. But it's a very exciting play. It is a diverse cast with actors from different backgrounds and ethnicities and all coming together to fire up LA theater and show people what we can do out here in theater. I think
Hmm.
LA sometimes people don't think that the theatrical scene is very strong. And, to their point, sometimes that's correct, but I'm looking to change that. This play is looking to change that. And I have seen some incredible pieces of theater out here. So some of it is a misnomer, it's a misconception. But, come and check us out. Like it's gonna be fun, it's wild, it's sassy. It's for people that might not normally want to go to a play.
Hmm.
It's these characters who are all deeply flawed, but they're all wanting love, but they're all human. And I feel like we can each relate to that to a degree. As much as we try to be better and go forward, we have these things in our lives that tie us back, that mess us up, these pitfalls. And that's what I love about the characters in this play, is that they all have that. And yet they all want to be better. They're all striving for more. They're all trying to get love, you know. It's a beautiful message.
Well, that's amazing. And where can people go watch this?
They can go to the Odyssey Theater. It's in West LA, and you can go to tmfwth.com to get your tickets. And we have a preview on the 8th, and we have some discounts for students. We have some discounts for senior citizens, and we have some group tickets if you want to have a fun group outing. We're hoping to also target. We love that the LA theatrical community will come out. We hope and we know, and they will come out. But we're also looking for people that might not necessarily go to a play, but they would go to a Dodgers game.
Hmm.
You know, come and see this. There might be something for you. It's not such a high art to where you're not going to be able to understand it or relate or
Hmm.
connect. It's edgy, it's street, it's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Definitely the audience and everybody needs to go see it. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy. I want to dig into a follow-up question about theater acting because I know theater acting is fun, but also I guess challenging because when you're an actor or an actress, when you make a mistake on stage in front of the audience, right? The play continues, right? The play continues. And I know a lot of actors, they're like, I can never do theater because you make a mistake, you continue. But if you do on TV, you're like, cut, okay, action. So, what is there any funny stories that you have witnessed or you have experienced on theater that that you can tell us that
Yeah,
happened?
absolutely. I mean, I think to their point, that is the case, but that's also what makes theater alive. There's this element when you're in front of an audience that is this unknown thing where you know something's going to be different. You just don't know what it is. And so the other night I was watching a friend perform, and there was just this bottle that somebody accidentally knocked over, and it rolled and it didn't break. And you could tell, I knew that that was not supposed to happen. So she got up, she grabbed it, and she put it down. But what was interesting in that moment, the piece became really alive. There was something happening there that none of them knew how to react. None of them were expecting it. And it threw this other energy into the mix that I found to be very exciting. We were rehearsing this play on a stage, and we had we have a vase of flowers. There's a moment where my
Hmm.
partner, Lodrick G. Collins, hands me this bouquet of flowers, and I'm supposed to put it in the vase. And we hadn't rehearsed with this particular bouquet, which was bigger than the one that we were practicing with. Hence, always rehearse with your exact props. Then this won't happen to you. And so I put it in, and there's no water in the vase, and it just fell and it shattered the glass jar. And we were luckily in a rehearsal, right? We had to stop the scene because it was just too, I was, as the character, trying to find a solution. Okay, I'm going to try to clean this up. But the facts were I was barefoot. It was untenable. So the good thing from that was, we were able to stop because it was just a rehearsal. We're getting a plastic vase for anybody who comes see the show. Look for that moment because you'll remember this story. We're going to have water in it. And so, but it does, I love it. And I've been on stage so much and I've had this happen to me so much through the years as being a dancer and an actress that like I look forward to it because I think audiences also enjoy humanity. They enjoy seeing things happen a little differently and they're very understanding. And if you just know that the audience is with you and they're supporting you and you look for a solution as the character, it's going to be all right. Yeah.
Right. You're right. I mean, the theater acting, a lot of actors, like I said again, they don't like it. I do understand. Not all actors, some actors and actors, they don't like it because, like you said, you make a mistake, you got to continue. But also, it's a good way to practice for beginners, I
I
believe.
agree.
I
Yes.
believe, because it's a good way to like have fun, but if you forget your line, you're still continuing. And I think personally, that's a good way to practice for beginners because it's challenging. They do in front of the audience, and I
I
think
agree with you. Yeah.
I think it's just me personally. I don't think you need acting class because I mean, you could just do theater. You could do, there's ways to be on set, on, the way to get involved. Um, I'm not like dissing no acting classes. I just me personally, I think if you need it, you need it. If you don't, you don't need it. It's not required because you look at all the big actors out there who never went to school for acting, and
Sure.
it's passion, but also this shows passion. You go for it. Don't give up. I mean, if you work hard.
Yeah, I think, I kind of my point of view is slightly different on classes. I do think it's important to study your craft and to think
Hmm.
as a craft. And what a class does is give you the opportunity to do that with a group of people. Acting is weird because it's not something that you can just play the violin. You need others to bounce off of. But if you're not doing that, but you're doing a ton of student films or you're doing plays, you're getting that exposure and that experience. And
There,
so that
yes.
can happen, because a lot of the community, it's also like what I like about either path you choose, if you choose to do like the student films or which I've always studied. And I've always studied because it's given me a community. And from that community, you can book work, you can have network, you can, meet people. So you and I might have different points of view, but I think that there are many roads to Rome. And I think
Hmm.
you can get there any number of ways if you have the
Right.
drive and if you have the discipline to practice the art of acting.
Hmm. And I
Yeah,
totally agree with you. There's both ways, and I think I don't want to say, well, I think is the good way to start is get on YouTube, make your friends make videos on Instagram, YouTube, social media, and put it out there. That's a good way to practice among yourself as friends to say, okay, you memorize this line, you memorize this line. Okay, you're gonna act like you're gonna walk through the door. Okay, you walk through the door. You're in the kitchen. Let's do all that. That's a good way to practice as well. And so to work on your craft as well.
absolutely. But that's doing it. That's doing it. That's as
That's
long as you're doing it.
100%. And I
Yeah,
think everybody who wants to get into acting should do it. It's not I think, should do it. That's a good way to practice because if you can't go to acting school and you can't afford it, which I totally
sure.
understand, I
Sure.
believe that is a good way to do it. 100% with friends.
Well,
Just
yeah, what's so great now is that, just with we all have these devices and you can you can do your own stuff. So for sure. But the important part is however you practice the craft, that you practice it, that you really,
hmm
it's free to buy some, even you can find plays or scripts online. It's free to get your friends on a Zoom and read with each other. Like I agree, you don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but as long as you're practicing the craft. That's the
Yeah.
only way you get better. It's like Michael Jordan wasn't the greatest,
Right. You
it was because
practice.
he was on the court. He was on there, shooting, shooting, shooting all day, right? It's not how many shots
Yes.
you win, it's how many shots you miss.
Yeah. What's your ad advice or not advice, your opinion about audition? Because I know auditions over Zoom and in person. Do you like it in person or you like it over Zoom?
It's a tricky question because the moment that I decide that I like it one way or another, I'm limiting myself. So I love being in a room with real human beings. I mean, I do. That also takes time. You have to drive, you have to park. And so there's something also nice about being on Zoom. I think that both have advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages of being in the room is that they can give you an adjustment on the spot. You can take it, do it, and show them. Because really, directors want to see that you can change, that you're not so glued in on your ways, that you can do the
hmm
same line.
hmm
You can do the same line. Or you can do the same line. It's the same, with different intention and different action verbs behind it. That's harder to get the adjustment on Zoom because they might not even watch your whole tape. So you kind of have to do for yourself, learn how to direct yourself so that you can give your best read. So in a way, it allows you to present a more finished package. But however, if your finished package isn't in the direction that they're seeking, so I don't take an opinion on this is better, this is worse. I think they both have advantages and they both have huge disadvantages.
Okay.
And I am trying to embrace whatever the current medium is because,
hmm
wishing it were different doesn't help.
Right. And no, the reason I asked you because a lot of young actors absolutely love Zoom. I said
Yeah,
that with explanation,
sure.
and I totally understand that because, if you live in, for example, in San Francisco and they're like, well, can you come to LA for audition? And they're like, well, I have to drive from San Francisco to LA. And I totally understand, or fly, right? Or if you're going from Texas to Los Angeles or New York or anywhere in the United States. So a lot of young actors, especially maybe adults, love it now because you don't have to worry about spending money. So I do agree with you on that, and on the pros and cons on that. And I hear a lot of elderly actors, not to go after any elderly actors, but the traditional actors who've been doing it for a while, they like doing it in person because you can show your full personality. So I totally agree with you. There's both pros and cons. I'm not saying in person is never not gonna go away. I just think there's pros and cons in both. I think it's great. I personally think it's wonderful that there's both. So, you don't have to worry about driving or flying,
I do
save
too.
money.
I do too. And so the upside is also the downside at the same time because if you're able to now audition from San Francisco, then this person from Atlanta is also able to audition and this person from New York. So the
hmm
pool becomes much bigger and the
Right.
competition becomes much more fierce. So hence the need to be top of your game in the first, 5 to 7 seconds. You've got to like capture, you've got to find a way
hmm
to get people interested in what you're doing, or else they turn it off. And
Right.
people, they just don't have time to watch the whole tape for
Right.
everybody. They know right
100%.
away. Yeah.
Because I know I don't quote me, but I believe I had an actor told me, I think it was a he or she, don't remember, sorry. Sorry if you're watching or listening. Um, that they done audition on Zoom and they got a couple of roles but like they was telling me that they still miss the personality going in person.
Sure.
But also they also said they loved it because it's like they lived so far away and and it's like well, I'm getting in the car and drive all the way there. And I think it's good. Also, I want to say real quick about Zoom is like if you, especially if you live in LA, and you have audition, you have five audition, for example. You're driving from one place, this place, B, C, D, F, you know, for audition in LA, and one of those time you're gonna be in rush hour. I've been in rush hour in LA, and it's like
Yeah.
you're stuck in rush hour. And I mean, and it's like that I understand because a lot of actors are like panicking. Oh no, I'm going for audition. I'm stuck in traffic. Oh no, what I do? So I think a lot of actors like it in person. They're like, okay, I've done my two in person. Now I can go home and do on Zoom because I know I'm not going to make it at this time. So I totally understand. There's pros and cons on both. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all that evolves and what's next, because there'll be other forms in the future that we haven't even thought
I
of yet.
know it kind of interesting. I try not to think about it, but now my next one for you is what is the best advice or the what is the best advice you ever heard or received from? Sorry, my brain froze there. What's the best advice you ever heard or received from?
About being an artist, being an actress.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let me think about that for a second. The best advice, work your ass off.
Hmm.
Work your ass off. Work your ass off. Work your ass off. There's nothing that can replace it. Good looks are there to a point, but when you had or have the in-person auditions and you show up and you see 25 other people just as good looking or better good looking, right? So that gets you so far. Natural talent is good. But again, you show up, and now that we're virtual, put that to the hundreds or thousands, and they all have the same natural talent. So you've got to really find what is going to give you your edge. What is going to give you your
Wow.
edge? If you can take all the skills that you've naturally been given, maybe you're a character actor and you look interesting, maybe, and blow on that and heighten that and try to bring a quality to the character, try to find a unique read that's not what they saw, but when they hear it, they go, yes, that requires the work. That's not going to come from a first read or a second read or a third read or a 10th read. It's going to require reading it over and over. Like for the play, we've been workshopping it for almost 2 years. I'm going to be honest with you, because we were fundraising, we're getting the play, we're getting the characters. We had actors that had booked other jobs on major movies that got taken out. We had to replace. Every production always has things that happen. It's totally normal. Now, I've been working on this character for that long, and I am just starting to crack the surface of her, I swear to God. And you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of hours that we've put into this. I'm just starting to figure her out. And so I think that's what I have to say. Fine, if you really go after it like a diamond, you've got to, a diamond in the rough, you've got to work at it, work at it, work at it, work at it. And that's why it shines so bright at the end of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
What you said is powerful right there.
Yeah.
Really is. Work hard,
Mhm.
work hard. And being in this entertainment industry, from A list to B list, welcoming actors, people who are experienced, anybody in this entertainment industry, you're right. It's tough. It is tough and it's challenging. But right there, you just said it. Work hard, and don't give up. I think that's not. I think it's 100%. You have all these actors who are consistent doing what they're doing. That's the serious thing. A lot of people are like, "Oh no, this is so tough." Yes, it is. It's tough. You have auditions, you're staying up late, you may be on set for 16 hours all night, right? Mommy getting maybe only getting 3 hours of sleep because they want to catch a sunset and you get off a set at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I think it's that everybody needs to realize, and the fans and the audience who are watching films on TV and on movies, I just want the audience to realize this is what we do. The film crew, the actors, the directors. This is hard effort. It's not just only actors and directors and actresses. You have to realize the film crew. I personally believe the film crew is probably not getting enough credit. And I'm being honest
Not at
because
all. Yeah.
we are they are up the same time as everybody else. You may go see, for example, let's talk about Mission Impossible. I love Tom Cruise. Big shout out to Tom Cruise. But you see the behind the scenes, how many times he's done all the roles, right? And everything, right? To me, like imagine how many times a film crew had to get up in the morning, do this and do this, Pirates in the Caribbean, everything. So for me, it's like I want everybody to realize, when we go watch a TV show or a movie, just in, when I go see a movie, I thank the film crew. Yes, thank the
Yeah,
film crew.
that's so powerful.
And theater is the same too in personality because I've seen theater. And even though, woof, wow, theater being on stage is like, I've seen it. I trust me. I know what you're talking about. You see in theater and you're like, wait a minute, is that supposed to be part of the line? You see the actor and actors kind of pause and everybody else is still there and doing the role. And then you're like, they snap their fingers, like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And they're doing their lines. And it was like, and everybody else is like, oh, we need to change the story. Like you could tell, like in their brain for a minute, it's just like, okay. But again, it's like I was saying, behind the set, it's the crew that makes the
Oh, my
theater.
100%. And you were asking about great advice. Treat everybody on set equally, the
Amen.
same amount of respect. I
Mm-hmm.
100%. Anytime I walk onto a set, I introduce myself to everybody. Big smile. Like I genuinely am grateful because when you go to the LA Philharmonic and you watch the orchestra, you see the orchestra. But when you go and watch a movie, it's still an orchestra, but you don't see all of the parts. Like some of them are,
Right.
right?
Amen.
But it's a team sport. It really is. And if the lighting person doesn't show up, if the gaffer, if the sound guy, if the catering,
The
every single
stunts.
yes, the stunt I have a couple of friends who work in stunts and body doubles and like if all those people don't show up, there's no movie. So it is a working together. I believe in wildly getting rid of hierarchies like that because I don't think I understand why they exist, right? You have people's names and images, and those are what's drawing in the fan base, and so they get paid more. And I understand that from a business standpoint. And simultaneously, you can still treat everybody really, really well. And you know what? Everybody will remember that, and you will become instantly more hireable. Instantly. If the director watches you being nice to somebody that's a PA or quote unquote like beneath you, which I'm saying that it's not that
Mm-hmm.
they notice. People watch how you act on set. You have to be very careful how you treat every single human being.
Amen.
It's true. You never know who that person's going to be in 10 years, by the way. They might be the next biggest director, and they're just
Yes.
studying for now.
And
No
one
idea.
thing
Like,
I want to say real quick is you're right. They are your friends. Be nice, be kind to one another because they're gonna also help you get some big roles as well.
yeah,
So, 100%. I want to ask you, what's your why? Why are you doing this?
okay. I love telling stories, and my biggest why is that I want to connect. I want humanity to connect with each other through storytelling. So I am an artist, but I'm also an activist. And one of my biggest, on every project that I've worked on, I've always looked to see how I'm the same as other people. That's my come from. We're all human beings. And so if there's a way to tell a story that's going to allow people to connect with somebody that they might have judged or they might have I want to be a part of that, and I want to also allow people to feel their feelings. I want to be a catalyst for people to feel, for people to experience life so that they can enjoy themselves more. They might watch a piece of theater It's very interesting. Or movies or theater, it's the same. You might watch a film, you watch a piece of theater, and I'm still thinking about this relationship of in this play that I saw on Friday. I'm still thinking about the couple. I'm still thinking about it. It got into me in a way. I'm married, I'm thinking about marriage. I'm thinking about long-term relationships. In the end of this production, the couple split up. And I'm thinking about it. It affected me. It's impacted me. I want to impact people through art and hopefully to make their lives better, to be a source of comfort and ease and humor and relaxation. But underneath that, to hopefully nudge humanity towards yeah, better things, our better version of ourselves that I truly believe we can be. That's why I've made some films in the activist realm as well. I've done a lot of work in anti-human trafficking. It's been very important to me to use the media to tell stories that are for people that are underserved, stories that are underserved. That's part of it as well. But ultimately, it's to create connections between human beings.
Wow, amazing. And I'm glad you're involved in activism and, speaking out against all the stuff that we need to talk about in the world and bring people together in humanity and bring peace and love to one another. And that's one thing about the film industry. We love telling stories. We're telling other people's stories. That's the one thing I love. It's watch a true story movie, true story TV show, and it's emotional, sometimes it's not, but we that's what we love doing. That's what we have, it's a have to, it's a must to tell people stories because they thank you in the future. They
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
it's tribal. If you look back and you figure out who are human beings, what did we used to do? Well, we've always been telling stories. We've
Mm-hmm.
always been doing it. It's been, sit around the campfire. Well, now that's become the home television, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that continues to evolve. But I
Right.
believe as long as there are human beings, we're going to be telling stories
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
100%. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Um,
Oh
what
no.
do you do for fun when you're not doing acting or none of this stuff? What do you do for fun?
Okay, I do a lot of things for fun. I love simple things like taking a walk. I'm grateful to live near the beach, so I walk. I love walking. I like to travel. It's a big passion and hobby of mine is traveling, seeing new places. I really love learning about new cultures, seeing new places, meeting new people. And then also, additionally, I go and see art. I go and support other artists. I go to people's previews. I go to their plays. I go to their dance shows. I show up and I participate.
Amazing.
Yeah, in LA, in that vibrant community, because
Hmm.
there's so much here, really.
Amazing. I totally agree with you. My last two questions for you. If you could be, what's your favorite genre? And then if you could be on set with any actor or actress, who would it be and why?
Okay, my favorite genre is changing.
Okay.
It's been drama. It's been drama, but I've just been going towards comedy. I'm going towards
Okay, okay.
comedy. I'm
Comedy.
going in that direction. I love it.
Okay.
It's so fun. I did stand up for the first time a couple months ago. I'm not saying it was great, but I did it. It was fun. It was so I'm going towards comedy, but I'm a dramatic artist. You know,
Okay. Okay.
to be on set with any single artist, George Clooney for sure. George Clooney.
Somehow I kind of figured you might be saying that.
George, come on. Let's work together. I don't know. I think he's such a pro. He's such a
Okay.
pro. He's been in this for so long. He has the way that he carries himself on stage and off, I find very admirable.
Yes, he's
I'm in love with
amazing.
his wife. I think she's incredible, so like I
Hmm.
yes, him for sure.
And if it's okay, follow up George Clooney. Okay, what is? I know this sounds weird. What is your dream role? Would it be action? Would it be comedy? Would it be what would it be if you were had the opportunity to be on set with George Clooney?
Oh my God, if I could, I would probably want to do something dramatic with him. Definitely. I would love to play a woman who is lived through extraordinary circumstances.
Okay.
a really strong person that has had to survive um, crazy challenges. And I would love to tell that kind of story because I love seeing people overcome. And I believe in freedom. Like I really believe that I want to be free and I want everybody around me to be free. So if I could tell a
Amen.
story about somebody getting free, even of their circumstances, with George Clooney, like sign me up. Let's go.
I totally agree with you. Amen. I love George Clooney. Wow,
Yeah,
thank you. Well,
yeah,
thank you for following me on Instagram.
absolutely. My pleasure.
And then where can people find you, by the way?
Yeah, they can find me at the Jordan Marinov on Instagram. I've been really, like you said, I've been really working on beefing up my content, working on that. It's a whole project, it's a whole skill, it's a whole job, but it's really worth it. It's really fun. Yeah.
Hmm.
So find me there. I would love to connect. I'd love to see you after the play and, talk to you and hear what did you think? Did we do our job? Did you feel something? I'd love to hear from you about
Well,
that.
everyone needs to check out your play and support you, Miss Jordan. And
Thank
thank you again for coming on. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Me too. Have a great day.
We'll definitely stay in touch. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.